So I was president of Carroll Association of Realtors. And the year I was president, it was COVID. And so I had all of these great plans and all the committees. We were all excited for the year for me to be president because we had all these different ideas and like all these fun things to do for realtors to be involved with. And then COVID hit and we couldn't do anything. So I sat there, and one of the responsibilities as president is you have to listen to what National Association of Realtors, whatever meetings they have, and you're involved in making your association, the best it can possibly be, and you need to be knowledgeable. So I started to listen to everything National Association had regarding help for smaller brokerages and agents that could apply for help financially. And so I then thought, well, what am I going to do? So we have a book in Carroll County. It has all the brokers and it has all the agents. So I just sat down and I called every broker owner and the bigger franchise um, offices, some of them aren't owned by one person. So I would call the manager and say, listen, I know COVID is here and I just want you to know whatever we can do as an association to help you, please let me know what we can do. And a lot of the bigger offices were aware of what NAR had available as far as funding and how to apply. But like your small mom and pop, little boutique brokerages, they didn't know. Some of them didn't. And so I still have some of those agents that call me today and they're like, thank you so much. Like, because they just didn't know. And I was there and I said, let me know what I can do to help you. And I felt really good about that. Even though I couldn't do anything I planned, I thought, you know what, at least maybe I've helped somebody, put them in the right direction, made them feel like there was hope because there was so much mixed emotion in the beginning. People didn't know what was going to happen. And in Pennsylvania, I'm not licensed in Pennsylvania, but some of the smaller boutique brokerages were out of Pennsylvania. So you couldn't show a property in Pennsylvania for a long time. Maryland, it was a little bit different. We could, but Pennsylvania totally shut down. And so some of those felt very hopeless. And I feel like, and I had been told by some of them that I provided hope and they were excited about that. So that made me start thinking, wow, this is kind of nice. And then we moved. So through COVID, we had a boat, we put it in a marina, and we were trying to decide where we would want to move to. And I always wanted to be by the water. I wasn't sure I really wanted to live in Ocean City though, because Ocean City is a very it's a resort area. And so anybody that stays there through the winter, there's not much to do other than drink, and I'm not a big drinker. So I don't like to hang out at bars. So that wasn't like attractive to me. So when we had the boat, we kind of took the boat around to see where we wanted to be. Well, my brother lives here he lives in Kent Island. So we started to look around here and we ended up moving here. So when we moved here, now I am in the center of nowhere where my current broker was. So I'm like, now what do I do? And I realized through COVID, I didn't need an office. I don't need that. I didn't need an office, and I was paying dearly for the office. So I really started to think, okay, now what am I going to do? So I spent a year and I told my broker this. I said, here's the thing. I can come to the beach and work here. I can go up to Carroll County and work there. I can go to Columbia. His resources were great, but it didn't fit. Ocean City I could go to, but it just didn't always fit what I needed. And truth be told, every time I went to an office, I needed to print something, the printer was down or I couldn't get in the office. And I was like so frustrated with that. And then when they started to have meetings, I was on my FaceTime thing driving down the road and I couldn't hear the meeting because the connection was lost. So it was just like a constant comedy of errors that made me think there's got to be a better way. So I started interviewing brokers. I spent the year doing that. And when I was trying to figure out should I open my own brokerage because I am an associate broker in Maryland, not in Delaware, but I just take the test in Delaware and I could be that. And I started to really look at that, and I started to talk to brokers that I had talked to through COVID to find out, tell me about this. Is it a good thing, bad, whatever. And I've owned a franchise before, so I knew how a franchise worked. A franchise is all about numbers, building your numbers, building your numbers. You got to have numbers in order to make it work. And I've done that, and I did that successfully, but I don't think I wanted to do that again. Plus, you got to be really careful because as a broker owner, you're relied upon for leads, for guidance, for all of those things. And, how are we going to help? How would you help as a broker your agents? Well, I wanted to sell. And I didn't want all of that. I was a team leader, and it takes up a lot of your time trying to weed through people who want to work and who don't want to work. So I quickly realized I don't want the brokerage. I don't want a franchise. And I did call Remax, and I talked to them. And in order for them to talk to me a second time, I had to have my broker approval because I was an agent with the broker. And so with Remax. So in order for Remax to discuss, they had to let the broker owner know I was interested in becoming a broker owner or inquiring. And that made sense. So of course I loved Alex. He called me right away. I knew he would. I was waiting for that phone call and wanted to know, what am I doing? What am I doing? And he did. He made all kinds of nice offers and suggestions, and he did do everything he could to help me. But honestly and truly, it was all about there's got to be something better. And I just kept researching, and then I met Shelly. And Shelly I knew a long, long time ago because she was an agent in Eldersburg. So we reconnected, and I hadn't even thought about EXP because I, in my mind, knew that anybody around me was going to try to recruit me. And I always I mean, all agents that do business, they get recruited. And I never call those people back. Never, ever, ever. Because that's not what I want. Because I don't want to be a number. I want to find out myself. They're only going to tell you certain things. And I mean, they have to be transparent. But I didn't want to call anybody that I knew that was within that, because then they would know I'm looking. And I certainly didn't want that. And I didn't want my broker to get any hints other than me telling him I was looking. So I talked to Shelly, and I was like, oh my God, this sounds really cool. It's cloud based, it's agent owned, there's no debt. Well, that all makes sense to me because of how the market is changing. The agents don't need all the things that they had. Now, I didn't need an office. I have two offices. I have one here and I have one at the beach. I have my computers, I have everything I need. And so I didn't need that. What I needed was communication and guidance. But that cloud that EXP has, oh my God, that was like, wow. I mean, I didn't even know that we had meetings in Delaware because I never was in the office. So I never got anything there because that was my secondary state. I never went to a meeting, none for Delaware. And every Monday morning at 9:30, now with EXP, I listen every Monday morning. I'm like, oh my God, this is like unbelievable. I've learned that it is a better world. And I am left alone, but yet they do keep you in line. Trust me. I never thought that it would be that way, but oh boy, are they compliant. They keep you compliant so much so I got tired of being told I was non-compliant. So I finally hired a transaction person because I couldn't stand that. I'm like, why am I being so uncompliant? But the whole system was different, and I still don't like the system, but it's their system, and so you got to get used to it. I mean, you're always going to some things you like and don't like. And it was not the agent attraction part. I didn't want that. If I wanted to recruit, I could have done it anywhere, but that wasn't it. But then when I went to Cabo and learned about that, I thought, that's not so bad, because I've had brokers call me and ask me before I was with EXP, Joanie, I was told to call you. Our broker died. So where can I tell these agents to go? That's happened to me twice. Yeah. So, I would say, here's the options that you have, because I interviewed everybody. Tell me what they're like. I mean, do they need guidance? Do they need, are they independent? Can they do their own thing? So I kind of helped them along the way. I'm like, oh my God. So I go to EXP, I'm thinking I could have brought them all with me. Didn't know that, and again, that's not what I want to do, but it does make sense for me to it does make sense for me to tell some people that I do think it would benefit. There are people that I know would benefit from it. So I don't want to just recruit anybody and everybody. That's not what I want. But people that I know would benefit from it, I'm all about that. Yeah. So that's why I moved, and it's been really good. I mean, it's opened my eyes to so many different things, the way that business has changed. I would have not thought about social media quite so much. I know it's important, but I didn't realize the importance of it until I started seeing, you know, I was always told you are who you hang with. I've always been told that. That's the one nice thing my parents instilled in me. You are who you hang with. And I've always chosen to hang with good people who are smart, that I want to learn from, that I admire, that I, think are great people. And there's just a lot of that here, and I've learned so much. So that's, I'm glad I made the move. I'll share that with my old broker, because I liked him. He gave me opportunities to grow and he let me go, and he was really, really good to me, and I'm very thankful. I never put anything on Facebook that I changed. I didn't do it because I just didn't want all the questions. So I don't mind at this point now saying, okay, this, because I just knew I needed to make a change, but I didn't know why I felt that way. So even he asked me, why are you doing this? And I said, I don't really have a reason. He said, are you unhappy? I said, no, not really. I said, but I just feel like I need to make a change. And it truly was a really good thing that I did that. So that's that is it, and that is why I moved.